All right, so here we have the need to find an equation of a line. To do that, we need to find the equation of, to find the equation of a line, we need a gradient and a point. Once we know the gradient and a point, or we could find 2 points, but this equation, we're going to be using this where we need the gradient of the line and a point on the line. And a point on the line. So let's do that first. First, the gradient of the line. Well, we're told that it's perpendicular to this line here. Well, that line there has a gradient of, let's put it in y equals mx plus c position. So we've got y, take the 5x across, the minus 5x to be across. There we've got y equals mx plus c. So the gradient for this line is 5. So the gradient of that line is 5. Therefore, 3 dots, perpendicular gradient will be, now this is 5 over 1. You make it upside down or reciprocal. This is a positive. This must be a negative. So this gradient is positive 5 over 1. This gradient is negative 1 over 5. They will multiply both to equal positive 5 over 1 multiplies with negative 1 over 5 to be negative 5 over positive 5, which is equal to negative 1. So they are perpendicular gradient. So we know our gradient. Let's just put that down here. The gradient is going to be negative 1 over 5 of the line we want, all right, of the equation that we want. Now we need a point on the line. Now it says that it passes through, let's go black. It says that it passes through the x-intercept of this line here. Well, let's find that place where it crosses the x-axis on that line. So the x-intercept of this line here. Now, the x-intercept happens when y equals 0. And by the way, the y-intercept happens, just so that you know, the y-intercept is when x equals 0. So all along the y-axis, you've got 0 x values. Remember, all the way along the y-axis, you've got like 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, negative 1. So all along the y-axis, you've got x is 0. And all along the x-axis, remember, you've got negative 2, 0, negative 1, 0, 4, 0. You've got a y value of 0. So if it crosses the x-intercept on that line, we want the y to be 0, right? So we're talking this one here, all right? We want the y value to equal 0. So let's do that. Therefore, 3x minus 4 times 0 was 5. So if y is 0, you substitute the y value for 0. So 3x minus 0 equals 5. So 3x equals 5. And therefore, x equals 5 over 3. Now that's the point. 5 over 3, 0. There it is on the x-axis. This line crosses at 5 over 3, 0, and this green equation is also passing through that point. So now we know the gradient is negative 1 over 5, and the point that we want, let's go to green, the point that we want is 5 over 3, 0. So here we've got the gradient, and here we've got the point. So let's do it. So we want the equation where the gradient is negative 1/5 and it passes through 5 over 3, 0. So I'm going to use y equals mx plus c. I'm going to replace that with x, that with y, and that's with m. So y is 0 equals m times x plus c. So there we go. We just got to found our constant, right? So we knew, we know y, we know m, we know x. We just got to find out that plus c. So y, 0, that's this value here, equals mx, that becomes negative 1/3 plus c. Therefore, c equals 1/3. Now we know m, we know c. We can say, therefore, the equation of the line we're looking for is y equals negative 1/5 x plus c. Okay, we leave y x because that's a general point. That will work for every x and y point. Yes, it works for this point. We knew that. We use that point to find our constant. Now, every other point on the line will work. If you want, you can multiply everything by 15 and get other equations. You can stop right there. That's correct. I would stop right there once I got the equation. Unless they want you to answer it a specific way. If they don't want denominators, multiply everything by 15. You'd get 15y equals negative 3x plus 5. Right? Or if they want it in terms of ax plus by equals c, you get 3x plus 15y equals 5. Or if they want everything to equal 0, it's 3x plus 15y minus 5 equals 0. Different ways to answer that equation. However, I would stop once I've got y equals mx plus c. All right. Okay. I hope this has helped. Cheers.